Hey there, welcome to Hermit Haven. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Jackie. We're so excited to invite you into our safe space. Hermit Haven is like a cozy little hideout where we celebrate being confident in ourselves as we find happiness in quiet moments.
So grab your favorite blanket and your favorite drink, and let's dive into today's episode.
Hi, I'm Jackie. Welcome back to Hermit Haven.
Hi, I'm Ashley. We're so excited to have you this week. This week, we're going to be talking about small changes that change literally everything. And sometimes we think that it's going to be like some miracle, it's going to be some craziness, it's going to be like Paul Revere in the middle of the night. Like, no, it's not. It's literally sometimes just as simple as pulling out a glass of water and with a straw and saying, I haven't drunk enough water out of my water bottle. I'm going to put 4 different glasses throughout my house this week because I need to drink more water, right? Like small changes, right? Oh, look at that water break, everyone.
Water.
But I really think this is important because in reality, we've been really talking about like how we are honing into what our identity is. And in that sense, it's not changing who we are because just because it's a new year doesn't mean we need to change. It means really going and saying, who am I? Do I love who I am? Is there something about me that I want to become? And am I becoming that person? Right. And sometimes when we're in this road to become whoever this person is, this identity that, that we're talking about, we're thinking about. And again, it's okay if you're not here, right? Maybe you're still in step 1 where you're just trying to figure out who you are. And that might be the small step that you need to do is take more time and journaling, take more time to say, did I like how I just handled that situation? Right? It's okay. And this is what we're talking about. It doesn't matter where you are in your journey. This is a big part of it. It's a big part of really turning the tide.
Yeah. I hear this all the time, but I've noticed in my life, like whenever I'm like, oh, I want to do XYZ, and it's awesome to say it, but unless you're like setting yourself up to be that person or to do the thing that you want to do, it's really hard to get there because there's so many obstacles. And I'll give a few examples. So I told myself I want to be taking my probiotic every single morning before I eat breakfast or whatever. Like that's when you're supposed to take it. I want to have water and drink my probiotic. So I normally keep my probiotic in my bathroom on like a shelf where like I don't see it. And so now, even though it's not the cutest, it sits on my kitchen counter next to my coffee, like in front of my coffee pot. Because if it's like to the side, I'll forget it. It literally has to be in front of it. And so I try to set myself up for who I want to be and what I want to do. In the mornings, I have my little notebook that has my identity in it, and it sits on the table where I usually sit with my coffee so that when I wake up, I'm like, oh, open this little book. I mean, you can even have it open if that's too much for you. And I read it. And because I want to set the tone for my day. And so I just pick little things that I want to do. I want to get more steps in. Okay, well, if I don't have my workout, if my workout clothes are like in the bottom of my closet back there and I have to like dig through stuff and be like, where is it? Where are my pants? Like, then probably not going to go on a walk because that's just too much. And my point here is that like we think, oh, I just can't do that. I just can't be that person. Or it's so hard. It's so hard to be that new person. It's really not. It's just you have to think like, how can I set up my world to be the person that I want to be? And it's gonna take some maneuvering.
I think it's a lot of trial and error. And I think so many times we want because we're so excited and we think, right, because our brains kind of trick us sometimes thinking like we could do it all, right? And we're so excited that we just want to jump in and do our fullness. Jackie and I actually were having a little conversation before this conversation because we always have 5,000 conversations throughout the day. We were talking about getting content up. Jackie and I are content creators, and we honestly just kind of got sucked up in the season and we haven't really gotten out as much content as we personally would like. And, Jackie and I are talking about, okay, Jackie's talking about how she wants to post 4 or 5 posts, which is great. These are great ideas. This is an amazing plan, right? Her excitement to get posting is amazing, right? But it's a lot. And that's what Jackie's been saying. She's like, how do I do it all? Right. And I said to Jackie, well, what if you just post 1 post and then post 2, right? That small little change is still going to reach your goal. It might take a little longer, but you're still going to get there. And I think sometimes the small change is not actually physically what you're doing. It's your mindset. It's breaking those walls and saying, hmm, how can I do this differently? Like really being a detective and saying, And I think that's what's important too. So I think when we're talking about small change, it's not just a physical thing. It's a not just it's a mental thing too. What small changes can I mentally make? Right? Like, can I maybe instead of, when I have a negative thought, maybe there's a trigger word I can say to myself and say, don't do that. I don't know. Like whatever it is, like you guys have to kind of figure out, right? I think until you won't see physical change until you see mental change. So Jackie and I could be on level 100 and you guys are just sitting there and you're like, but how do I physically show up? Well, you first have to mentally show up and do the small changes to physically show up and do the small changes. And they go hand in hand. And so until you kind of find the balance between both, it's going to be hard.
Yeah. It it's such little I don't know. I'm very much an all or nothing. I was actually thinking of saying to you like we should do an episode about being all or nothing person because I am a very all or nothing person and I'm trying not to be because like you said I like to go from like 0 to 100 and I get really excited and motivated and I think we all feel that way, right? Especially at the beginning of the year
Mhm.
we're all like yes, like it's a new year, it's a fresh start and I can do all the things. But then we get so overwhelmed because there's so many things that we want to do in order to change and we don't realize it really doesn't take all of those things in order to change. It just takes small little tiny steps. And like getting more steps in. I was just saying that. Like I now have a walking pad and I'm like doing all the things and making time for it. But before it's like I would just walk around my house an extra time before I left or like parked farther away. Like there's just little ways to get more steps in, even if it's not the crazy goal that I have now. You start somewhere. You start small.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
and
about,
definitely,
oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say like if you don't already like structure your time and I know we don't have a lot. I know like none of us have a lot of time, right? Like it doesn't matter who you are, you'll always fill your time with stuff. But even if you're like a working mom, if your like second half of your day when you're home with your kids isn't like semi structured or have like some sort of a plan, it's going to be really hard to like make sure that you get it all done, especially if you're me because my brain's like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Where am I going? Or if you're, stay at home mom or whatever, doing whatever you are, it's just having a plan. I was just watching a YouTube video on this today or yesterday, and it's just like it's easy for you to just be eaten up with stuff, and so you have to start looking at like when you can fit these little things in, and then, I don't know. I'm always thinking in a big way, so I'm not trying to make it like this big thing, but just like I want to work out more. Well, which days do you want to do that? Or I want to eat better. Well, which day you're going to meal plan? Or I don't know. That makes sense. I want to be I don't know, a better I don't know. I don't know if that
Makes
makes
sense. No, it does make sense. I think it's important. Like, sorry, I spaced out for a second. I was thinking
yeah.
about what I was Ari's napping right now, so my brain was like, "Oh, it's 10:30. I wonder if he's gonna wake up." But no, I think that's important. It's like it's designing your day, right? It's like you have to like create a system that's gonna work for you. So like adding small changes is part of your day, right? So like creating the system that is designed to you is so important.
Yeah. One thing that like I know this is like in our notes here. I was just looking at transition time and it just made me think of like I'm we were just talking about I was all over the place. Sorry. My brain I had a headache earlier and we were talking about a lot of things and so my brain literally feels like a bunch of squirrels just like going all around in it as we're trying to talk. So I'm trying to like focus on what we're doing. But whenever I am building out my day, I forget to add in time for the transition. I know
Mm-hmm.
this episode isn't necessarily about that, but it's in our notes. And so I just want to like mention that that's something I've been more recently trying to do. Like I have to drive to get my child. So I'm not picking, it's not 1 o'clock and I can do something up to 1 o'clock because I have to drive to get him from school. So like I have to add that in. I have to add in time for like prepping my lunch before I eat it. And just like random things like that that we don't think about. And before we started recording, Ashley and I was telling her like I probably need to go back to writing down what I'm doing throughout my day and how long things actually take. And that really does play into this episode a lot because we want to do all these things, but we don't realize like how much time we're spending on other things or the thing that we want to do. And so taking like what is it taking a an account, I guess, of your time. There's probably a better way to say that, but writing down what you're doing and
Like
seeing how
tracking
much
it,
time you're spending, or what? Tracking?
tracking it.
Yeah, yeah, whatever. Knowing where you're spending your time will make it so much easier. I'm going to commit to this. I'm like telling you right now, saying on the podcast, because, and I haven't done that, I think, in like years, like actually sat down and done that. But I really need to know where I'm spending all of this time. I really do, because it's hard to fit in new stuff if you don't know where your time's going.
I think too, like besides time, right? Is once you know what you're doing for your time, then you like really can figure it out. But I think too, is something we were talking about earlier, is rotating like what you want. Like, okay, so like maybe you're trying to I don't know, be like more a hands-on mom, like put your phone down. Like I know that's a lot of our goal. Like a lot of people have that goal, right? Is to put your phone down, really be hands-on, be more creative for your children, spend more time doing things that they love. Like I think that's everyone's goal no matter where you are, right? I think it's about truly like okay, maybe today we're going to try an activity I love, right? Okay, that's going to excite me. Okay, and then tomorrow maybe we'll try an activity that he loves, and it could be something like putting a 15-minute timer on, doing it before bed. I read a TikTok the other day, and they were saying every night before bed they play a board game, right? And I know Jackie does board games like every Friday, right? And sometimes that's all it is, right? It's
Yeah.
rotating what you need to do. So like, let's say you have 5 different goals, right? You can't put everything on your plate. Let's be honest. Like it's not going to happen, right? It's just same thing with our podcast. We have so many goals with our podcast, but if we spend all our time trying to do every single goal and pour into every single goal, we wouldn't even have time for our family, right? You have to accomplish one thing to get to the next thing. We so many times want to win the race. Like there's this race in our head, like there's this timeline, there's this like thing in our head. We have to get to where we want to be by this time. And if I'm not this person, it's going to get messed up. And if I don't plan out my year by New Year's, then I can't have a good year, right? Or if my child doesn't sleep to 7 a.m. every day, I'm going to be the worst mom ever, right? No, it's not that. It's so easy to blame everything else around us. But we need to realize that it's the small little things that's saying, all right, well, they woke up at 6 o'clock this morning. Is that their ideal time for them to wake up? No, they usually sleep to 7. But guess what? Now we have a whole nother hour to play together, right? Now that's feeding into that goal of I'm going to be the best mom to my child.
Something that you were telling me earlier, you were talking about like making sure that you're doing things to match your kind of energy level. Like, remember you were talking about that with me earlier when you're like, this day might not be there, or this time might not be the best time to do that specific task. I think that is a really good thing to think about too when we're trying to add in new habits or like change, into this amazing version of ourselves. Like, you know yourself best. And so, this one girl that I love watching her journaling videos, she's like, I come alive at 9 o'clock at night. And I'm like, wrong. I'm like falling asleep. My brain doesn't even work at 9 o'clock at night. And so we're all so different. And I think that's something to really sit down and think about is like, are you the most creative or at this time or that time? Or when are you the most patient? Like putting like my freaking making the lunches for the boys that I absolutely hate. And I still am not doing it before the morning, which is not very smart of me.
You got to change that
But
mindset. You don't hate it. You just it's not something you're doing for yourself, so it's hard on you, but you're blessed that your child does have a lunch that you can pack them.
I am so thankful that we have so much food to put in there, and figuring out what the correct food that they will eat is such a fun game.
It's hard, and it's
It is
okay to
hard.
admit it's hard, right? I think, but it's the mindset, right? Like right there, you're saying, "Oh, I hate this chore." Well, then why do you want to show up and be, the person you want to be in this task?
I think that I
It's
need to find the right time of day that my energy is going to be the most excited to
Yeah,
make
and
it.
that's okay, but again, it's also how you talk about your task. Like if you yeah, I let me be honest, I do not like when my son wakes up at 5 a.m. I don't like when my son wakes up at 6 a.m. And sometimes I hope and pray that he just wants to go back and cuddle with me. But he doesn't all the time. But guess what? I'm excited because I get to see him, right? I'm excited. I haven't seen him in 8 hours. Like it's about your mindset sometimes too. Like I think so many times like while we're doing everyday life, we don't realize that we are becoming the person we want to be or becoming the person we don't want to be because we're not the way we're speaking, the way we're talking, the way we're visualizing, we're envisioning what is going to happen in the next 10 minutes, or we're worrying about something that has nothing to do with today, or we're worrying about a task that can wait. It doesn't have to be done right now. And I think that's sometimes what it is too, is really like check yourself, check your attitude, check your mindset, check who you are, right? Like, is this who, like Jackie says before, and I love this, is this who I want to be? Is this who I'm becoming? Right? And that's a small change right there and then, is showing up in this positive light, showing up and being yourself and truly appreciating the moment, even when it's hard. And sometimes, let's be honest, like I know, and it's sometimes prepping yourself for something, like, right? And this is part of that small change. It's sometimes it's just the prep, but like I
Yeah.
know if I give bath time, I am not going to want to do anything after bedtime. Like, just bedtime alone is easy. Giving bath and then bedtime, that is like a full drain for me. Like, full drain. So before that happens, I usually put my son down to play for like 10, 15 minutes, and I go get myself a new coffee. I take a couple deep breaths. I tell myself I got this. I look around the house and say, is there anything I need to do before I go put him down? Because I know once we start this task, I'm going to be drained. And it's just small things like that, though. I know what's about to happen, so I'm prepping myself, and that's a small change alone. Instead of walking into the situation and then getting frustrated that I'm now drained, I already know I'm going to be drained. So I'm going to go ahead of time and go do my stuff, right? And it's something like that sometimes. All it is saying, maybe I need to do something backward. Maybe I need to take time for myself before I do this, right? And I sometimes don't think we think those are small changes, but they are.
Think the magic is in the prepping. Mentally prepping, physically prepping, me prepping for the next morning means that my mornings are so much I'm more patient because we have more
Mhm.
time. I'm not as frustrated because I'm not running around while I'm trying to get the kids ready. Like prepping mentally, I don't know, to go be around a bunch of people. For me, like I have to mentally prep myself and be like, you're gonna be safe, it's gonna be fine no matter what happens, like it's gonna be a great time. Like prepping, I feel like the magic is in the prep
And
for
sometimes
everything.
I think too, sometimes we don't realize that sometimes you can even prep tasks. So like, for example, I cannot stand doing the dishes. Let's be real. That's just one task. I am blessed we have dishes. I am blessed we have a working dishwasher. Let me tell you, we did not have a working dishwasher for over a year. Let me tell you, I am blessed for this dishwasher. Like, I am so thankful. But I still don't like taking out the dishes. It just is what it is. Like, I know myself, and this is just something I don't like to do. So sometimes something I will do is I will tell myself, okay, while I walk from the fridge to the cabinet, I'm going to take 3 dishes with me. All right, I'm going to do it
Ooh.
again, right? And then maybe I did the whole top, right? Okay, I'll leave that and come back a little later and then be like, all right, I got to do dishes now. Well, I already started the task. And so I feel better about the task because that's not going to be as much time. So I think
That's really
sometimes
smart.
it's things like that, like small changes are built in what works for you. So somebody might look at me taking out half the dishes and be like, dang, she's lazy. She only did half the work, right? But that's just how my brain works. Like, I know I'm more likely to complete the task is if I start the task ahead of time.
While my pan was heating today for my pancakes, I grabbed the vacuum really quick and I didn't do a lot, like, I just did a little
Mhm.
bit, but I was like, "Whatever I get done in, like, the next 2 minutes, just do, 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 do." I try to remember to do stuff like that. I feel like it's, like, such a life hack to, like,
Well, I think,
split things up, even though it seems like you're not doing it, like, that much, you're, like, getting it all done.
I mean, a small change can even be like, well, I can scroll whenever. Why don't I use this time right now to go do 5 minutes? Literally, put a 5 minute timer on, put a song, put on a video, like whatever it is, whatever your timer needs to be. And it could be just literally going around the house and picking up what is around the house. Okay. And sometimes you can also say, oh, I want to scroll for an hour, but I also have tasks to do. So maybe I'll do 15-minute task, scroll for 15 minutes, task, right? Like, and I think those are the small changes. It's literally taking 2 extra minutes to even be mindful about what you have to do.
Yeah. I have a
So,
random thought. It kind of goes with the episode. I mean, it goes with our Hermit Haven. But I this morning, I'm just gonna say it because we're recording and it's fun. This morning when I got back from dropping off peers, I was just thinking of like all the things I had to do, and I was getting a little overwhelmed just because sometimes it happens. And so I would take each thing that I was overwhelmed about. So like laundry, right? So I had to do the laundry, and I'm like, I deserve to have clean laundry, and so do my children. And then I would think about like, I don't even know. I should have written it down because this is so good. I would just think of things and be like, uh, or like me taking time to sit and do something that is for me still gives me mom anxiety. Like, I don't know. And then like, I deserve to like have time to be creative, and my kids deserve to have a clean house, and just like all this stuff. I just
Yeah.
kept going with it. Like it just kept like rolling, and I was like, I deserve this, and the kids and my husband, and we deserve, and blah blah blah. And I just like took things that were making me like anxious and nervous and overwhelmed, and like turning them into something positive. I meant to tell you that today.
I love that. And I think we can even end this episode at this point, but I think if you're listening to this episode, I feel like we were all over the place about like what the message truly was. But I think at the end of the day, if you're listening to this episode, we really want you to know that you are in charge of your life and your schedule and where you want to go and who you want to be. And if you want to be that person, if you want to grow into this person, if you want to become more, or if there's something that's just not working for you, if something's bugging you, right? You can be the change. You just have to want it and willing to do it. And it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be some crazy like miracle. It literally can be just simple as being mindful of how you speak. It could be simple as, adding 5 extra minutes. It could be saying, I'm not going to build my schedule. I'm not going to build things around my transitional times. I'm going to leave my transitional times as just transitional times, right? Like instead of saying, I'm going to unload the dishwasher while we're trying to get out of the house, like that just doesn't work, right? Like, I think if you're listening to this, I truly hope you guys can sit down and journal or spend 5 minutes talking to yourself, spend 5 minutes like talking to a friend, whatever it is, however, I don't know, make a video about it, however you want to process this idea. But how can I show up for myself and make one change, even if it's the tiniest change for myself this week?
Yeah. I feel like this episode's all about becoming like an excellent problem solver.
Yeah.
Like you're thinking about, okay, I want this to happen. So how do I make that happen? What changes need to be made so that I can do this? And it's usually, like Ashley said, not like a huge change. It's usually small ones. Like you're just that's all life is. You're just continuously problem solving. How can I make this easier? How can I prep more for this? How can I, you know, become
Yeah.
a happier me? Right. And yeah,
It's
small
trial
changes.
and error, really. Like,
Mhm.
okay, you can say, oh, maybe I'll add 2 extra minutes to my transition time because we're
Yeah.
knocking on the house time. Well, that 2 minutes might not work out. Maybe you need 10 extra minutes, right? And then, well, where do you take that 10 extra minutes from? Oh, well, now we all have to wake up 5 extra minutes early, right? Like, it's going to be hard. Adjustment's hard. Change is hard. But it's small steps to get to where you want to be to make it flow for you, to make it flow for who's around you, for everyone to grow, for you to grow. And it's important to accept change and it's important to want change because when you want change, it means that you are growing.
Yeah. And if you're an all or nothing mindset like me, just know it's going to take time.
Yeah.
It's
And
going
that's
to take
okay.
time to figure it out.
And
It's
that
okay.
is okay, right? Time is important, right? You can't just all of a sudden, it's not like we just went to the moon in like 5 minutes, right? Like that was a mission. It took time, right? Some things are going to take time, some things are not.
Yeah.
That's what life's about. It is about figuring it out. And
Yeah.
we hope that you know that you're not alone. This is a community. So come to us if you need help figuring out. Come to the Facebook group, like comment on this. Let us know if we need to talk more about this. Like we really want to grow this community. And that is part of like us almost working on who we want to be, right? We're working on becoming the change for someone else, right? And sometimes that's what it is. Like maybe you have your life together in a sense, like you understand this topic and you see someone else needs help with that topic. That can be part of that change, right? Is helping someone else because sometimes when we know something and we open up to someone else, we become even better as a person.
Yeah. And we just get different ideas from different people. That's all life is, right? Like we're just sharing ideas of what we're doing, and then it might fit with someone else. And
Yeah. Love
well,
you.
love
Bye,
you guys.
y'all. Have a good
Thanks for
week. We'll see you
listening.
next Wednesday. Take care. Bye bye.
Thanks for spending time with us today and being part of our Hermit Haven community.
We hope you enjoyed our cozy chat and are inspired to embrace your inner hermit.
Remember, even in the quiet moments, you're never alone on this journey because we are truly all in this together.
So until next time, stay cozy, stay true to yourself, and keep spreading love wherever you go.
Bye for now.
We'll see you next time.